Flip this over, it stays there. Now to bend this second hoop around here, what you got to do is you'll see this is on the inside of the boat frame. See the beginning and end is on the inside. I hook that in there like this and then just bend it around. And as you're bending, I'll hook that in there, I'll bend it, I'll lash this one, I'll bend it to here, lash this one, and just work that all the way around. Okay? That kind of that holds all this ribs from being wobbly side to side. And that is basically making a basket. Right? Basket frame.
See, you went above beyond. So you're good.
What I do have, when I built this, I shot a complete in-depth video,
like that. Okay.
every step, everything on how to build this, okay? So when you get home, it will be uploaded onto YouTube.
Oh, sweet.
With hopefully some footage of whoever sinks, paddles around the lake.
So it's not mine because mine's staying.
Where's the young man that didn't know how to do a lashing?
Who's this?
Come here, brother.
Oh,
there we go. This will be
Let's
good.
look at this.
Well, I don't want to keep it too short now.
Come on down here. We're just going to undo this.
Right here?
that's what's going to fail, just so you know.
That little slice on the little slice. Show you how to tie this knot to start, okay? You're going to go around it. You got this end right here, okay? Lay that flat against here. Now we're coming back over. The way I do is I put my finger in it. And I come around my finger twice. And I use my finger to pull that underneath there.
Anybody else?
See how it pulls tight? Roll that up close. And we got this end that wants to come over this way. We're just going to go around that one. Pull it tight. Back around here. It's like making a bunch of U's. Okay, like this. And every time I come around, I just kind of snug it down tight. Like this. Then when I get however much I think is good, I'll come around the center, maybe. Pull that down tight, okay? Then remember how we did that? We'll lay the first one against it. We'll come around my finger twice. And use my finger to hook that through. Okay, we track it. Now I'm going to help you through the next one. Aren't real strong, okay? So the one thing we need to do is go over this entire outside of this boat, anywhere this tarp's going to touch it. Right? We got little nubs or anything, we need to cut them off because they will instantaneously poke a hole through this tarp. Okay? And I think we're pretty good. Anything like this, we want to make sure it isn't real sharp. We won't throw our buffalo hide out here on the ground. This is a Chinese buffalo hide, by the way. From Walmart.
That's a rare blue Chinese.
Yeah. From Walmart, We're going to take our boat and put it in the middle.
And lash it off.
Okay.
Okay.
Everybody's favorite part, right?
Careful with the knives, boys. Yeah. Just when you're cutting these, make sure you just kind of pull it up so it's tight and just cut an X right across the top of it. Pop it through. Okay, the guys watching, tie that off right for our start.
Using a sail needle and bank line.
Make a stitch about every 4 inches. Now when I get to my rib, okay, what I like to do is on this side of the rib, make a stitch, cross over the rib, and go right on the other side as I'm snugging my tarp up and come around. Okay, So we need to sew this tarp to this boat. Don't everybody run. This place, this is on the second day of like a 5-day event, right? There is nowhere to clean up. I have one set of clothes with me. I came home and I grew up with just my dad, and my grandparents lived on the next farm north of us. And my grandma always did all her laundry and all that stuff.
Using the old
She
nasty
made me
hide.
take that pair of clothes and take them directly to the burn barrel and throw them in that burn barrel. So if you're going to build one out of a very heavy hide, make it right there. Just a word of warning, okay? All right, okay?
How to step
Low
in
to
it.
the ground, low center of gravity.
Right in the middle.
In, down on your knees. Okay? Everybody tracking me? The way that's laid out with 3 ribs, you'll have a rib for your toes and a rib for your knees. And the other rib will be somewhere in here. Right? And you got padding against that so you can be on solid ground. And that's kind of important because I know this really handsome guy from Ohio, and
I'm from Massachusetts.
okay, from Massachusetts. I know a really handsome guy named Steve from Ohio that built one of these not too long ago after he's built a dozen of them, right? And being the way he is, he just stepped in and put his foot right through that stinking tarp. And I cussed myself because then I didn't have another tarp, you know, or that I was willing to cut to make this. So it's just something to keep in mind. You know, just, you don't want to poke a hole in it. If you're, I'll tell a story on Dave here. Not on Dave, but on something me and Dave did together. Okay? You guys are wondering how this has to do with survival. I probably don't need to build a boat for survival unless I got to cross some water. It's a good option. But I'm poking holes in my cover, right? But for fun or bushcraft or, you know, whatever you want to do, it's a great way to do it. I built one of these for an unnamed television show that I took onto a river that was running pretty good, and it worked pretty good. Why? I don't know. It's just what they wanted to do. It didn't end up making it in the show, but I showed them that the producer people that they could do it, and Dave ended up building another boat, and that's what they did. But what I built it with was saplings that I found right there, and on the bank of the river somebody had burned a tire in a fire. Has anybody ever seen a tire burn off, right? There's 2 big cables on each side of that tire, the bead that goes around the rim. Now being in that fire, it annealed that wire, that cable. So I just took it on the side of a sharp rock and busted it in 2 with the back of my axe to split it. So you got all this annealed wire, right? I just twisted this whole thing together with wire that I found on the side of the river. And it worked pretty good, you know, it held up really nice. But, you know, my boat held together pretty good, and
Somebody else's
Dave
didn't.
swam. Just saying.
You had
All
one
right.
skinny guy in your boat. I had 2 fat guys on my boat.
Well, you know. All right, so what's the question? Any questions? Because I know I confused somebody.
Did you talk?
And he said anybody that got his life vest wet is in big trouble.
I haven't warned you yet, dude.
And like, so basically what he's doing is you're testing his flotation device.
You're right.
I think we need to do this. Don't let me squeeze it back here.
Cow. I'm not so sure that thing fits him.
Yeah, it's pretty good, man.
I can swim pretty good.
All right, no wallet, no electronics, no nothing. Okay, we're rocking.
You might want to take your hat off too. No, I'm not.
He's not even going to get wet. All right.